Ah, found it. Good afternoon, enthusiasts. And I'm in a pickle. So according to my schedule, it says I'm supposed to do a roller coaster review today. But the problem is, the person I was going to do the video with just went to Texas for some reason without telling me. So that was unexpected. Okay, so I can't talk about that roller coaster, but don't worry, I have plan B. As you can see here, I have paper. And a lot of it. Okay, so on each piece of paper, I have a random roller coaster written down. And whatever roller coaster I pull out first is the one we're gonna talk about today. Nope, I've already talked about that one. Let's see, please be good, please be good. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Once upon a time, I reviewed Corkscrew at Valley Fair, and in that video, I concluded that Corkscrew was a fun, albeit outdated ride. Now I'm talking about the Cedar Point Corkscrew, and these two roller coasters are very similar. In fact, the Valley Fair Corkscrew was inspired off of the Cedar Point Corkscrew. And in my personal roller coaster rankings, I have the Valley Fair Corkscrew placed quite a bit higher than the Cedar Point counterpart. But why is that? Why is it that I prefer one roller coaster over another when these two are very similar? Frankly, I don't give a crap. I mean, who cares about Corkscrew? It's literally Corkscrew. No, seriously, come on. Why am I talking about Corkscrew at Cedar Point? Like, out of all the roller coasters I could be reviewing, I'm talking about Corkscrew. What am I doing with my life? You gotta be kidding me! I mean, okay, sure, I'll do it. There's no escaping from this now, so I might as well waste 10 minutes talking about Corkscrew. But before I review Corkscrew, I'm going to give some brief history on this roller coaster. Let me take you back to the early 1970s. At this point in time, Cedar Point was not the massive mega park it is right now. Back then, Cedar Point was a humble, local amusement park. Today, Cedar Point is known for breaking roller coaster records. However, back then, the roller coasters they had didn't break any records. But that all changed when Dick Kinzel, who at the time was the operations manager at Cedar Point, hired the roller coaster manufacturer Aerodynamics to make a $1.75 million roller coaster for Cedar Point. Cedar Point had previously worked with Aero before. In 1969, Aero built Cedar Point the Cedar Creek Mine Ride, which was the company's popular mine train model. At this point in time, Aero was seen as very innovative. In 1975, Knott's Berry Farm opened Corkscrew, which was the first roller coaster in the world to take riders upside down twice, with 2 Corkscrew Inversions. Going back to Cedar Point, they were going to build a roller coaster similar to Knott's Berry Farm's Corkscrew for 1976. This is when Dick Kinzel saw an opportunity to break some records. He requested that in addition to the 2 Corkscrew elements, that there would be a third inversion on this roller coaster. So, a vertical loop was added to the blueprints. In 1976, Cedar Point opened Corkscrew to the public, and it was the first roller coaster to go upside down 3 times. Corkscrew was a huge success. In the roller coaster's opening year, Cedar Point's attendance surpassed 1 million for the first time. Corkscrew started the trend of Cedar Point building record-breaking roller coaster after record-breaking roller coaster. So yeah, that's the history of Corkscrew at Cedar Point. Now, I can totally see why this roller coaster was a big deal when it first came out, but that was 46 years ago. How does this roller coaster hold up now? Alright, first things first, the roller coaster's name. And the name Corkscrew sounds quite familiar. Let's see. How many roller coasters are named Corkscrew? Anyways, moving on to the roller coaster's appearance, and I absolutely love this roller coaster's color scheme. I think the blue track goes very well with the white supports. It is classic in every sense of the word. Come to think of it, the Valley Fair Corkscrew also sported the same color scheme, but they changed it to bright orange and turquoise several years ago, which is nice, but I definitely prefer the Cedar Point Corkscrew's blue and white. This roller coaster's location is also genius. The two Corkscrew Inversions go over the pathways, so as you're walking down, a train can fly through the inversions over your head, and it looks so cool. It is very beautiful and very photogenic. Anyways, you walk up to the station and board the classic Aero Looper trains. These trains sit very low and they feature over-the-shoulder restraints, which the operator has to manually unlock after every ride. After you exit the station, you turn right and climb the 85-foot tall lift hill. After that, you travel down the first drop, reaching a top speed of 48 miles per hour. This first drop isn't anything to get super excited over. There's no airtime and it's quite shallow. I was sitting in the back row, so I thought maybe I would get some airtime, but there was none to be found, unfortunately. But that's okay, because after that comes an airtime hill with some surprisingly good airtime. It's not anything to write home about, but it was very surprising. Following that comes a vertical loop, which this vertical loop is actually decently forceful. It's not like super intense or anything, but you can definitely notice it pulling some G-force. Next, you pop up into a brief section of straight track, then curve down into the most iconic part of Corkscrew, and that is the two Corkscrew Inversions. These two corkscrews may look cool, but when you actually ride this roller coaster, these inversions are bumpy, rough, and uncomfortable. If you are a shorter person, then be prepared for some headbanging on these corkscrews. And if you're tall like me, then be prepared for some neck banging. But your suffering won't last long because the brake run is right after that, ending a short and even painful ride on Corkscrew. So by this point, there will be some of you who think that I'm being a little too harsh on this roller coaster. After all, in my Valley Fair Corkscrew review, I actually really liked that ride, and these two rides are still very similar. So it's time to answer the question I asked at the start of the video. Why do I like the Valley Fair Corkscrew more than Cedar Point's Corkscrew? Well, the simple answer is the Valley Fair Corkscrew is smoother. Corkscrew at Valley Fair is not the smoothest roller coaster in the world, of course, but it's smoother than the Cedar Point Corkscrew, that's for sure. The Valley Fair Corkscrew also features a helix, but who cares? Now to answer the other question. Why is it that most people just don't seem to care about the Corkscrew at Cedar Point? Well, the main reason is that it's at Cedar Point. What I mean by this is that there is tons of other roller coasters here that are much better than Corkscrew. If this roller coaster was at a smaller park, it might be more popular there than if it was at Cedar Point, because compared to most of the other roller coasters at Cedar Point, Corkscrew lags far behind. So, for Cedar Point's Corkscrew, I'm going to give this roller coaster a 4 out of 10. So yeah, that's Corkscrew. Now, I do respect this roller coaster for its history, but unfortunately, this roller coaster is more pleasant to look at than it is to ride. It's still worth the credit, but after that one ride, I don't know if I recommend this roller coaster. There's just plenty of other roller coasters at Cedar Point that are more worth your time. But hey, that's just my stupid opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. And I'm going to pick the roller coaster for the next review. This better be good. This better be good. This better be good. This better be good. This is gonna suck.